Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. What if I told you the reason your business isn't growing has nothing to do with your product, your marketing, or even your competition? What if it's your finances, or more specifically, how you're managing them, that's silently crushing your potential? Today, we're getting real. I'm going to walk you through the top 7 financial mistakes that are killing business growth, one slow leak at a time. Some of these might sting, but I promise you, if you catch them early and fix them now, the upside is massive. Let me tell you how I found out the hard way. A few years back, I was doing everything right, or so I thought. Revenue was decent, customer feedback was great, and the brand was starting to build momentum. But every time I tried to scale, hire someone new, increase my ad spend, invest in systems, I felt stuck, like I was hitting an invisible ceiling. That ceiling, it was built out of financial blind spots I didn't even know I had. And if you're watching this, I bet you felt it too. The first financial mistake that held me back, and holds back so many entrepreneurs, is not knowing your numbers. I know that sounds broad, but stick with me. I'm talking about the basics: your monthly revenue, your profit margin, your operating expenses, your customer acquisition cost. Most business owners check their bank account balance and think they're doing fine. But if you don't know your real numbers, how much it costs to keep the lights on, how much you're actually keeping after each sale, you're driving blindfolded. For months, I was celebrating revenue milestones without realizing I was barely breaking even. Growth without profit is just busyness. It's exhausting. Knowing your numbers gives you power, because when you see the truth, you can finally make strategic moves. The second mistake is mixing personal and business finances. I know this is common, especially when you're just starting out. One debit card, one account, everything going in and out, like a blender. But here's the truth. This one habit creates chaos. You don't know what's yours, what's the business's, what's deductible, and what's not. It makes taxes a nightmare. It makes budgeting impossible. And worse, it keeps you in hustle mode instead of CEO mode. When I finally opened a dedicated business bank account and got a business credit card, everything changed. I could finally see what was really going on. It brought structure, clarity, and a level of professionalism that I didn't realize I was missing. Now the third mistake is underpricing. And this one hurts, because it feels like the right thing to do, especially when you're new. You want to be affordable. You want to attract more customers. You don't want to scare people off. But here's the truth. If your pricing doesn't cover your real costs and leave room for profit, you're not running a business. You're just creating an expensive hobby. When I raised my prices, I was terrified. But what actually happened? I started attracting better clients. Clients who respected the work, paid on time, and valued what I offered. My margins improved, my stress dropped, and my business finally had breathing room to grow. You don't build a strong business by being the cheapest, you build it by being valuable. The fourth mistake that's quietly killing growth is ignoring cash flow. You can be profitable on paper and still go bankrupt if your cash flow is out of sync. I didn't really understand this until I was in a situation where I had plenty of invoices out, but barely enough cash in the account to make payroll. It was terrifying. That's when I learned that revenue doesn't pay the bills, cash does. I started tracking cash flow weekly, projecting the next 30, 60, 90 days. I planned for big expenses. I tightened up on late payments, and I started requiring deposits up front. That one shift gave me the confidence to invest, to hire, to grow, because I knew I had cash, not just numbers on a spreadsheet. The fifth mistake, thinking that doing your own bookkeeping is saving you money. I get it. You're scrappy, you're resourceful, you want to keep costs low. But here's the thing. Your time is your most valuable resource. Every hour you spend trying to figure out expenses or categorize transactions is an hour you're not spending growing your business. Not to mention the error. I once miscategorized a whole quarter's worth of expenses because I didn't understand the tax rules. That mistake cost me thousands. Hiring a bookkeeper or accountant isn't an expense, it's an investment. They see what you don't. They catch the small leaks before they become flood. And they give you data you can actually use to make smarter decisions. The sixth mistake that stops so many businesses from scaling is avoiding budgeting. I used to hate budgets. I thought they were restrictive, boring, and kind of pointless. But I was wrong. A budget is not a cage. It tells your money where to go so you're not wondering where it went. Once I started budgeting monthly with real numbers, not guesses, I stopped overspending on shiny objects and started investing in things that actually moved the needle. It's amazing what happens when you give every dollar a job. You start running your business with intention instead of impulse. You stop chasing growth and start building it brick by brick. And that brings me to the seventh and final mistake, waiting too long to invest in growth. There's a fine line between being lean and being cheap, and I crossed it. I waited too long to hire help. I waited too long to upgrade my systems. I waited too long to run ads, to test new offers, to train my team. Why? Because I was scared. Because the money wasn't extra. But guess what? The money is never extra. The leap comes first, the reward comes later. The key is investing wisely, not randomly. Run the numbers, test small, but don't stay stuck in the same place because you're waiting for perfect conditions. Growth is never convenient. It requires calculated risk. And if your finances are in order, if you've avoided the mistakes we just talked about, you can take those risks with confidence. So let's zoom out. When I look back at my journey, it's crazy how much of my business growth wasn't about better marketing or a new strategy. It was about fixing these quiet financial mistakes. They weren't obvious at first, they were sneaky, but they were everywhere in the way I priced, the way I tracked money, the way I made decisions. Once I cleaned them up, everything accelerated. I had more clarity, more profit, more time, and most importantly, more peace of mind. And that's really the heart of this. Because business isn't just about revenue or followers or scaling to 6 figures. It's about freedom. It's about building something that supports your life, not something that drains it. And that freedom starts with financial awareness, with financial maturity, with treating your money like it matters, because it does. I don't care what stage you're in, whether you're side hustling, scaling, or just starting. If you're making any of these mistakes, fix them. Not all at once, just one at a time. Open that business account, track your cash flow, raise your prices, hire that bookkeeper. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be aware and intentional. That's what real growth looks like. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps this content reach more business owners like you. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because I've got more no-fluff real-world business and finance tips coming your way every single week. But most importantly, drop a comment and let me know which of these mistakes hit home for you. What are you gonna change starting today? Thanks for being here, thanks for being honest with yourself, and thanks for building something that matters. I'll see you in the next one.